The Philadelphia Eagles didn't just win a football game, they made a statement. Coming off 2 rough losses, including that bitter one to the Giants, this was more than a bounce back. It was a response. And not just any response. It was the best, most complete game the Eagles have played all season. Finally, both sides of the ball showed flashes of what this team is really capable of. And at the center of it all, Jalen Hurts, shutting down every critic who doubted him. Let's not sugarcoat it. Things were tense heading into this one. The Eagles' offense had been struggling. The passing game looked stale. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith were visibly frustrated. And Hurts himself was catching heat from all angles. One bad outing, and suddenly the media was ready to write him off, again. The same tired takes came pouring in. He can't read a defense. He's not accurate. He's holding the team back. It was ridiculous, especially when we're talking about a guy who literally took this team to a Super Bowl. But Hurts didn't respond with words. He responded on the field. And what a performance it was. From the very first drive, you could feel something different. 4th and 4, high-pressure moment. And Hurts drops back and fires a deep ball down the left sideline to A.J. Brown for a 37-yard touchdown. Absolute beauty. And it wasn't just a lucky play. Hurts read the defense, motioned to A.J. to go deep, and then dropped it in perfectly. That kind of chemistry, that kind of awareness, that's what elite quarterbacks do. And shout out to the offensive line, too. After weeks of shaky protection, they stepped up big time and gave Hurts the time he needed to operate. Credit where credit is due. Now, was everything perfect? Not quite. After that hot start, the offense did hit a bit of a lull, going 3 and out 3 straight times and failing to score the rest of the half. But that all changed in the second half when Hurts uncorked an absolute bomb to Devonta Smith for a 79-yard touchdown, the longest of Smith's career. And what makes that play even more special is that Smitty himself called it. Yeah, during halftime, he told the coaches he saw the look, knew it would be open, and asked for the play. Coaches listened, called it, and boom, touchdown. That's the kind of trust between players and staff that championship teams are made of. And what a day it was for Devonta Smith. 9 catches, a career-high 183 yards, and a score. He looked unguardable. His footwork, route running, the ability to create space, it was all on display. And the craziest part? This is a guy who often takes a back seat in this offense, quietly doing his job without complaints. But when his number was called, he reminded everyone just how dangerous he is. And let's talk about this adjustment to the offense. Finally, we saw the Eagles doing something different. For the first time all year, they leaned into under-center formations and play-action concepts, something fans and analysts had been begging for. Hurts himself reportedly pushed for it during the week, wanting to establish the run and give the offense more versatility. And it worked. The Eagles ran 20 plays from under center, nearly matching their total from the previous 4 games combined. And it wasn't just for show, the results were there. On play-action passes alone, Hurts went 4 for 4, throwing for 121 yards and a touchdown. That's efficiency. That's smart football. It's about keeping defenses honest. When you only run shotgun and everyone knows the tendencies, you become predictable. But under center, now the defense has to guess. Is it a run? Is it a deep shot? Is it a quick strike? That confusion opens up opportunities, and the Eagles exploited that masterfully. And while the run game still wasn't great, just 45 total yards as a team and only 44 from Saquon Barkley on 18 carries, the threat of it was enough to keep Minnesota's defense from teeing off. And when the passing game is clicking like this, it changes everything. Hurts was lights out. He finished the game completing 19 of 23 passes for 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating of 158.3, the first perfect rating in the entire NFL this season and just the 3rd in Eagles history. Against the number 2 pass defense in the league, by the way. On deep passes alone, Hurts went 5 for 5 for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's not just good, that's elite-level quarterbacking. That's silencing the haters in the loudest way possible. But let's give A.J. Brown his flowers too. For catches, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Those are WR1 numbers, and he showed once again why he's one of the best in the league. That touchdown up the seam was textbook. The sideline grab on 3rd and long was clutch. And the 45-yard dagger in the 4th quarter? Cold-blooded. And the crazy part is, that play wasn't even part of the call. Hurts checked into it at the line of scrimmage, saw the coverage, and trusted AJ to go make the play. That's that next-level connection, the kind of chemistry that wins you games in January. Together, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith combined for over 300 receiving yards, 304 to be exact, and made it look easy. And while the play calling did improve in the second half, let's be real here. This game wasn't about the scheme. It was about the players stepping up. That deep touchdown to A.J., scramble drill. That bomb to Smith, he asked for it. That 3rd and 13 conversion, Hurts being a magician. The final deep shot, Hurts making a check. So while Kevin Patullo deserves some credit for opening up the playbook a bit, the stars of this game were the guys on the field. And speaking of stars, we can't ignore what the defense did. This was a unit that had been up and down, but they showed some real fight in this one. In the second quarter, with the offense stalling, the defense came up big. Jalen Carter got pressure on Carson Wentz, forced a bad throw, and Jalix Hunt, who's quietly had a solid season, dropped into coverage, picked it off, and took it to the house. Pick 6. Redemption, 2. After dropping a similar play last week. Hunt wasn't done there either. 5 pressures, 3 hits, 2 hurries. That's a breakout game, plain and simple. And shout out to the rookie Andrew Makuba for grabbing an interception on the next drive, even if it was one of those classic Wentz desperation heaves. Still, he made the play, and that's what matters. But the real standouts were the linebackers. Zach Bond led the team with 10 tackles, and Nakobe Dean, finally healthy and seeing real snaps, made his presence felt with 6 tackles, a tackle for loss, and the 5th highest grade on the team. That's exactly the kind of production fans had been waiting for. What's really interesting is that the coaching staff made a noticeable shift here, sliding Jahad Campbell out to the edge more often to give Dean that inside linebacker spot. And it paid off. Dean was flying around, reading plays, filling gaps, and just playing with that energy and instinct that made him such a standout in college. After all the time he's missed, it was great to see him out there looking confident and hungry. He even said after the game that it just felt good to hit someone again. You could tell he was ready. Add in sacks from Moro Ojomo and Josh Sweat in the red zone, and you've got a defense that, while not perfect, made the plays when it counted. The Vikings moved the ball, no doubt. Jordan Addison had himself a game. But when it came to finishing drives, the Eagles clamped down. Minnesota made 6 trips to the red zone and came away with just 1 touchdown. The other 5 ended in field goals, and that, right there, was the difference in the game. But just when you thought you'd seen it all, the biggest bombshell of the night didn't come from the field. Reports started swirling before the game that Eagles legend Brandon Graham might not be done just yet. That's right. After announcing his retirement, BG is apparently in talks with the team about a possible return. Nothing official yet, but the idea that number 55 could be back in the building has fans fired up. And if you ask the guys in the locker room, they're all for it. Whether he plays every snap or just a few, his presence alone is electric. That energy, that leadership, that voice, it's irreplaceable. If Brandon Graham really does return, it's not just a feel-good story. It could be a real boost for a team that's still figuring things out defensively. Even last season, BG proved he still had gas left in the tank. He was productive, disruptive, and always brought the juice, whether on the field or in the locker room. When you've got a veteran like that, someone who's seen it all, who's bled for the team, and who's respected by literally everyone in the building, that energy is contagious. You could see how the guys lit up just at the thought of him coming back. And let's be honest, with the defensive line needing depth and leadership, bringing back a guy who embodies everything about being an Eagle feels like a no-brainer if he's in shape and ready to go. Now, even with all the good from this win, one thing still lingers: the run game. It just has not been there. It started okay with some decent outside runs, but once again, it faded. Saquon Barkley carried the ball 18 times and finished with only 44 yards. The entire team finished with just 45 yards on the ground. That's a problem. And it's not just the running backs or the offensive line, though both have had their issues. It's also the play design. Defenses aren't respecting the run because they know what's coming. They're selling out to stop it and often guessing correctly. And when that happens, you don't just lose yards, you lose rhythm. You lose the ability to control the tempo of the game. And in tight matchups, that's what can swing the outcome. To be fair, the Eagles coaching staff did try to shake things up this week. Going under center, using more play action, bringing a little more creativity to the passing game. All of that helped mask the run game's issues to some extent. And yes, the pass game exploded, which is great. But eventually, you're going to need to be able to run the ball effectively, especially in the cold, late in the season, and in the playoffs. It's not about giving up on what works. It's about being balanced, keeping the defense guessing. And right now, this team just doesn't have that balance. One of the key reasons behind this continued struggle is Kevin Patullo. Now, to his credit, this game did show that he's at least willing to make adjustments. You look at Devonta Smith's route tree, and it's much more dynamic. More variety, more crossing routes, more chances to get open in space. Same with Jalen Hurts' passing chart. There were clearly some new wrinkles. But the reality is, too many of the big plays in this game came down to individual brilliance, not scheme. That touchdown to A.J. Brown, that wasn't drawn up. That was Hurts making something happen outside the pocket. That bomb to Devonta, called by the player, not the coach. The third and long conversions? Pure quarterback magic. That last deep shot to ice the game? Hurts checking into it himself. So while Patullo deserves some props for showing a little flexibility, let's not pretend like he suddenly turned into some offensive mastermind. The Eagles' offense worked because their stars stepped up and made plays. And that's great. It's exactly what you want from your leaders. But moving forward, you can't count on them bailing out the system every week. There has to be a structure in place that consistently puts guys in positions to succeed. Otherwise, when things get tight and when opponents adjust, you're stuck hoping someone can pull off a miracle again. That's not sustainable. Still, there's no denying this win felt different. This was the Eagles we've been waiting to see. Not perfect, not flawless, but resilient. Explosive, confident, and for the first time in a while, they looked like a team that believed in itself again. You saw it in Hurts' eyes, that sharp, locked in focus. You saw it in Devonta, asking for a specific play like he was already visualizing the touchdown. You saw it in A.J. Brown, shrugging off defenders like they weren't even there. You saw it in the defense, making key stops, flying around, forcing turnovers, and picking up the offense when it stalled. That's what good teams do. They find different ways to win, and they do it together. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. In what could be the talk of the NFL offseason, whispers have been circulating that TREY HENDRICKSON, the relentless pass rusher known for terrorizing quarterbacks, is reportedly set to join the Philadelphia Eagles. Sources close to the situation hint that a deal is already in place. And while the organization has yet to make an official announcement, insiders suggest this move could dramatically reshape the Eagles' defensive front. Hendrickson, who has consistently ranked among the league's elite in sacks and pressures, would bring a much-needed edge presence to a defense that has flirted with dominance but often struggled to close games against high-powered offenses. Speculation is rife among fans and analysts alike. Could this be the final piece that elevates Philadelphia from playoff contender to true Super Bowl threat? The chatter is hard to ignore, especially considering the timing, which suggests the Eagles are aggressively pursuing defensive reinforcements ahead of the new season. Social media has already exploded with Eagles supporters weighing in on the potential impact of Hendrickson's arrival. The buzz is almost cinematic. Highlight reels of Hendrickson's devastating strip sacks and relentless pursuit of quarterbacks are flooding feeds, paired with memes imagining the havoc he could wreak in the Birds' defensive schemes. Rival teams are reportedly paying attention too. Some insiders suggest front offices around the league are quietly bracing for what might become one of the most disruptive defensive pairings in recent memory. While nothing is officially confirmed, the air around Lincoln Financial Field feels electric with speculation. Analysts are debating how head coach Nick Sirianni and defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon might deploy Hendrickson to maximize pressure without compromising coverage, while fans fantasize about a defense that finally lives up to its potential. One thing seems certain. If this deal goes through, the Eagles won't just be making headlines. They'll be sending a clear message across the league. Philadelphia is serious about dominating the trenches. For now, all eyes remain on the rumor mill. And as the days tick closer to official word, the anticipation is almost tangible. Hendrickson to the Eagles may not be officially written in ink, but the buzz is deafening. And if it comes to fruition, The defensive nightmares for opposing quarterbacks could be just beginning. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.